We are live. Comic Hall Roundtable discussion. This is the variant, November #1 edition, cover B. I'm your host, Matt Oda. Joining in right now, the big man, Antonio Coleman.
What's going on, everybody?
Al Rainey in his cool Mo D outfit tonight. And Xavier Randall. The panel is here. The viewers are here. Are you ready? We've got a good show lined up for you tonight. We're going to come right out of the gate with a hot button issue. An issue I have discussed with Antonio Coleman. An issue I have discussed with Al Rainey. First, before we even get there, how is everyone doing tonight?
I'm making it,
Doing
bro.
good,
How
man.
about you?
Everybody recovered from trick-or-treating last night? Can't hear your brother Al. Can't hear your brother Al. We got to check that audio.
Ain't nobody knock on my door last night.
Okay. Testing
Oh,
one,
yeah.
two.
Testing one,
Right
two.
on. Dandy, thank you for having me here and thank you for joining us, people. I'm good. I'm good.
All right. All right. So the hot button issue, and let's just get right down to it. Why has the quality of gaming gone down across the spectrum, but Nintendo has seemed to find a way to surpass this issue that's affecting the gaming industry? It seems as if Nintendo has found a formula here. With the Nintendo Switch, we all talked about this in our private Facebook group, and everyone was talking about Mario Odyssey. And I must be honest with you all. Everyone knows that I was like, oh, I'm not buying a Switch, I'm not getting it, but I'll probably be getting one in about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it just looks like a great game, but the underlying thing here is that me and Antonio was talking on Sunday, and we was talking about the gaming industry, how bad the games have got. I mean, he was telling me about he had took Madden, you traded in Madden, and I got to thinking. I said, you know, you're the third person outside of Xavier and Melvin that I know that another buddy of ours that is trading in their Madden. And normally, man, you know, Antonio can kind of gut through games. He can kind of hang in there. You know, he can fight through the minutia, the garbage. But when he had to get rid of it, Xavier, the devout, he is a disciple in the Church of Madden. For him to get rid of a Madden, that kind of says a lot about the quality of the gaming industry. I mean, we've got other kind of variables. You know, we've got the whole Battlefield argument. We've talked in length before about Capcom. We've talked about with this new Battlefront, you know, coming out. That the game looks good. From what Brother Antonio was telling me, the game looks good, but the problem here is that in order to be even remotely successful in that game, you have to buy add-on stuff. Now, what makes the Mario and the Nintendo Switch and some of the games that's on the Switch attractive? And I think did Mario Kart come out for that already? Mario Kart's out for that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't recall hearing anything about paying for add-ons for Mario Kart. I could be wrong, but I just hadn't heard anything. It seems as if Nintendo has done the old tried and true formula of just putting out an attractive game. And I'll throw a game that's not even on Nintendo out there. And I've heard nothing but stellar reviews of this game. And I've talked to several guys outside of you all. And that's Cuphead. I've heard Cuphead is a top of the line game. And someone said it's genuinely hard, but it's that type of hard that reminds you of an old Nintendo game. So with that, I'm going to defer to Antonio Coleman first out of the gate. Antonio, your thoughts on the quality of gaming in today's society?
Well, I mean, it's a lot different than what it used to be on there for it. I mean, I've read a couple articles and watched a couple of even like YouTubers with their discussions on this, where everybody's been talking about the way games are being sold now, to where basically you're being told about a game, and even before it's released, you're being told about other products that you need to buy along with the game itself, even before it's out. Uh, Street Fighter is a perfect example of that. Dragon Ball Z has recently announced their season pass for it, and they've even gone as far as to make their basically like their ultimate edition that they call it digital only. So you can't even buy it from a retail store. You have to buy it directly from them in that situation. But in all, as far as with the way the times are changing on there, it seems that more companies are just going towards what they can sell you after the game has actually come out. Whereas you have like you said, example with Nintendo, once the game is out, the game is out. I mean, they'll put stuff to add it on later, but they don't chop it up and sell you pieces of a game and say, okay, well, we'll fix it or add this feature in it to make it better later on down the road. It's pretty much a complete game when it puts out. I mean, another example is a game that you play, I play as well, is Overwatch. And that's a game that once it's come out and play, all the content that's been coming out afterwards has been free for all the players. Now, the cosmetic stuff that you get, that's just for looks, but it has nothing that'll actually affect the gameplay on there for it. So, I mean, overall, I mean, the way companies are doing, they're really looking to see what they can sell you afterwards. It's what if the Madden Ultimate Team, the FIFA Ultimate Team. I mean, all the systems and gaming companies, that's what they're going for now is to see what they can sell you afterwards in that situation.
All right. It's I think the thing that really just drives me bats is the fact of the matter that you pay. I mean, let's just be real. These games are costing $79 in some spots, 69. And when you talk about add-ons and stuff, you're looking at $130 games, $150 games.
Yeah,
I mean,
easy.
$200 and stuff. I've seen 200 at times. 221. You know, and when you look at what comes, even when you get those deluxe editions, I mean, let's just be real. I mean, half that shit you're not even gonna even touch. You get
Right.
these art books and stuff that really unless you're like a diehard artist yourself, you're probably not gonna care about that kind of stuff. I mean, for all for all for all of what Grand Theft Auto 4 was, for those who can't remember Grand Theft Auto 4, it was pretty much straightforward. It was you buy the lot box, you get a T-shirt, you get the game, and you got a strategy guide in the damn lot box,
Yeah.
and a couple of art pieces and a map. I mean, but you still, I think at that time, I don't even think it was. I think it might have been like maybe $10 more, something to $20
It
more.
was it was $79. It was $20 more. But I mean,
Okay,
it was an
so
actual metal lock box. It was like it's like an ammo box. Is what it
yeah,
came in.
and in the DLC, the Ballad of Gay Tony, was that one? Or was that
Yeah.
Vice? Yeah. So all of that came with the game. So I mean, it extended the life cycle of the game. And go back to your Overwatch point. I'm looking at just no further than a couple of weeks ago. Overwatch, new costume, new Halloween costumes, and all you got to do is play the game. They're not asking you to buy them. Now, if you want to buy them, you can, but they're not requiring you. And this is the thing that they do that's so good is that they give you a real opportunity to actually get the costume and play, as opposed to having to try to break necks and get the Clockman Diamond in order to even get what you need to get in order to get the costumes.
Yeah. You
You
ain't got to
know
burn all your time on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're all in our 30s, man. We don't have time to be sitting there. With the exception of Al, who's in his 70s, to to be sitting there, trying to get all of these goodies for a game that you're only gonna probably during the week maybe put in maybe 30 minutes on. 30, 45, on a good free night, so no, I just, I'm really not a big fan of the whole nickel and diamond. Al, your thoughts, my friend?
Well, I mean, TC, I mean, it sounded like he actually read that verbatim out of a Rolling Stone article. I mean, there's not too much that he said that I can't really say. He that was jam up. Those are my sentiments exactly. I mean, to add to it, um, you have a situation now where um, you have companies that feel as though, and I'm gonna use this example. My grandmother, may she rest in peace. My mom, my dad's mom. She lived out of Lizella. For those who live in the middle of Georgia area, and she lived in the country. I used to go out there summertime, spend time with my grandparents, and mainly two of my cousins that live with my grandparents, with their parents. Back in the day, she used to have evaporated milk. She didn't believe in regular milk. What she would basically do is buy that one can of evaporated milk. And if we ate cereal, she'll take that evaporated milk and she'll put probably about maybe uh, less than a third of a cup in the bowl and she'll mix the rest of it with water. That's how we ate cereal. Granted, it didn't taste good. You ate that or you didn't eat nothing. The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of these companies now, what they're trying to do, their game is the evaporated milk can. And what they're trying to do, they're basically giving you a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time to stretch that game to as far as it can go. Point taken, a point given. We've talked about this game. If we did a poll about what game we probably talked about the most on this show, it'll be Street Fighter Five. Street Fighter Five is a prime example of that. Um, Now, I understand that this particular climate is 2017. Video games have changed tremendously. And personally, as a personal on this particular panel, as a representative of, let me just say that in a situation where we don't get it. Back in the day when we bought a game, whether it be the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was there broke, I couldn't picture this. The Sega Dreamcast, whatever system, PlayStation 2, regular Xbox, we got a complete game. It wasn't an issue where the developers were trying to see how much money they can actually get from a title. Back then, it was the developer saying, hey, we got this opportunity to put a jam up game out. That's what we're going to do. Some hits, some misses. We all know what the hits were. But the fact of the matter is, when you receive the game, you got a game. Matt and I talked last night. He came, stopped through a few minutes, and we talked about Final Fantasy VII. Now, Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 4. For those that don't know, Final Fantasy VII is considered one of the greatest roles on Breath of Mana, blase, blase. That game, back in the day on the PlayStation, it came with 3 discs. Had that game been released today, not the remake, but the game that was released, if it was released today, that game probably would have been split up in at least 20 different parts. Any side quest that we received, like the Chocobo races, and then fighting the what's the name of them monsters that you fought? The Emerald and the Ruby ones. What do they call them? Do y'all know?
I just remember them as the ultimate weapon.
Well, those
Yeah.
those would have been DLC. Um, any add-ons in reference to Aerith's death, Sephiroth, all that kind of stuff probably would have been DLC. We would have actually been in a position where when we paid $49.99 for that game back then, would probably equate to today's standards to a $350 game. Nintendo has pretty much put themselves in a position where they've stayed par of the course this whole whole time while people were talking about, oh, Nintendo, they come out with Diddy Kong's Quest number 8, blah blah blah, Mario Party 13, blah blah blah, Mario, Super Mario, Championship Fighter Edition Turbo, XL. But the thing of it is, people fail to realize that Nintendo has stayed with the formula that they've actually been with ever since the days of the Nintendo and the Famicom. At the end of the day, Super Mario Odyssey has been deemed one of the best reviewed games of all time. Now, that is a serious statement because there's only a handful of games that I can remember in recent history that's been given that particular distinction. In 3 days, that game sold 2 million units. Those are Call of Duty numbers. You know what I'm saying? So you got a game that has enthralled people. Critics love it. People love it. I know a couple of guys at work has a Switch. They gonna get it this weekend. They've already got it. They're like really nutting up over this game. Industry's gonna have to come to some type of impasse. Are we gonna continue to browbeat people for money, or are we gonna come out with a game and then bring out DLC that accentuates the game? You shouldn't have to purchase a game to buy DLC to complete it. Bottom line, when you pay that $59.99 off the rip, whether it be digital or whether it be a physical copy, that particular game should give you enough enjoyment or several hours of play to where you don't necessarily need the DLC in order to enjoy that game. You shouldn't have to buy something that's going to actually add extra stages to a game that's incomplete. Now, if it's a complete game and you're adding extra add-ons, that's different. Putting like with some of these companies, when you're purposely removing content from a game and selling that content under the guise of, hey, this is some extra stuff that we could put in the game. Let's start. The first Star Wars Battlefront was a prime example. Bare bones game. So, by my in my closing, I'm on that. I'm on the bandwagon with Matt. Is were it not been for me looking for a tablet, I'd be looking for a Switch right now in the next few weeks myself before my birthday. Because at the end of the day, as Matt indicated, we're in our 30s. I'm in my mid 40s, and we don't have the time that we used to have when we were in the 8th or the ninth or the 6th or the 5th grade, where all we had to do was homework. You just want to sometimes come home, turn on the game, get as much enjoyment out of that game as possible, and be on your way. You shouldn't have to buy a season pass for $30 for content that should have been included in the game in the first place. So I'm gonna end it on that notion. But yeah, that Odyssey, the Nintendo Switch has really piqued my interest. I'm a huge fan of platforms, especially Mario. And with what I've seen and heard of that game, that was enough to actually make me a believer to say, hey, I'll get me a Switch sometime down the road.
Excellent. Xavier, your thoughts?
I mean, I agree to a certain degree with both TC and Al said. Um, One thing that I will say about the gaming industry now, I'm not gonna say all of the games that Microsoft and or that are available on the Xbox or the PlayStation have been watered down or filtered down or anything like that because due to the amount of DLC content that you have to purchase. I would say that it's the games that we are so in love with that we buy year in, year out, which is a shame. You know, like we get when you look at games like Resident Evil, for instance, you know what I'm saying? When they bring that out, it's pretty much a complete game. All the DLC that they add on afterwards is just extra to go on to. It's not a necessity to enjoy the game. It's literally just add on. Same thing with Evil Within 2. Games of that nature, we pay that $60 and we get a full complete game. And in order to get your money's worth out of it, I mean, you got to sit there and play it and play it and play it. So I wish more companies would do stuff like that. I mean, speaking of Evil Within 2, I'm playing it right now, and that game is tough. Al, if you play part one, you know that game was tough. It's scary. It's all outdoors, but you don't have to do all that other stuff. Nintendo has an upper hand, and it's a lot of people gonna agree. A lot of people gonna disagree when I say this, but they have the upper hand because they take years and years and years to develop one game. You know what I'm saying? When you look at a lot of the games that came out on the Wii, how long had it been since we had a Nintendo platform where you can play those games? So they had almost a decade to get those games set up and ready. Then when they brought out the Wii U, they didn't bring out any real new games. They just brought out remastered for majority of the time. So they still took all those years from the Wii to get ready for the Switch. So the games that they're bringing out on the Switch have had those years of production behind them. So if the other game companies would look into that, we will all have better games all across the board. But at the same time, if they took years and years and years to bring out and develop games like Nintendo does, then we would complain about a lot of those games that we're so used to getting year in and year out not being available for us. So it's like a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword in my opinion. But I'm not a fan of all that DLC content that you have to buy for all these fighting games and games like Madden and 2K where you gotta spend $90 to get 20 coins just so you can buy this and that and the other. But I'm feeling y'all on that.
One thing I'm gonna get you in just a second, Al. One thing, Xavier, on that last point that you made is that another thing that you could take from that is, and it could be reversed, is that if these companies take longer time to develop a game, it holds them to a higher standard and accountability.
Yeah.
You know, let's look at God of War. God of War is a game that they will go back to the drawing board and will refix it and then put it back out. It'll take two that we'll hear about it, and then 2 years later, 2 to 3 years later, we'll wind up playing. Even Gran Turismo. No, Gran Turismo is like a Sade album. You only see that about every 8, 9, 10 years. And then usually when it come out, it's top notch anyway. An actual Mario, like this Mario, it takes them forever to bring out a Mario. A real Zelda, it takes forever, you know. But these companies like EA, they're rehashing these games. And TC's laughing because he's waiting on me to get it. I'm not going to get on the super rant tonight. But when you sit on your ass and you release a game, and it's basically all you do is release a skin, or one or two new characters that you took who are already in the game already, that was already rated 50 in a FIFA, and then you tell me that these are new characters. You bump them up from 50 to 75. And then you put a palette on them, and then you send the game, and it still got the same flaws that it had the year before last. And in some cases, worse. For those who have played Madden, I've seen some of the madness that y'all have gone through on Madden. And I thank God I didn't get that game, because I'd have broke another controller. And I can't keep buying controllers, throwing them in the streets. You know, but this stuff has become acceptable to some of these gamers, and they're not holding these companies accountable for their behavior. If you'd have put out crap like that in 1998 or 97, EA will be the laughing stock of the community, and they know it. Now we know that there were glitches in the old games, but they weren't game breaking glitches. There was not game breaking DLC where you had to buy this in order to be successful in the game. I don't ever recall Doom having a DLC. I don't recall Quake having DLC. I don't recall Duke Nukem having DLC. I don't recall Double Dragon having DLC. It's wallet pillaging of the highest quality. It is wallet rape of the first degree. And it is enough, and everyone's tired of it. Everyone is tired of it. Al, closing point.
Well, to kind of add on to what you said, and kind of accentuate what X. I mean, catch 22 for some, as far as the produce, manufacture, program the games. Examples: Cuphead. Cuphead was delayed. Uh, and when Cuphead 2014, 15 missed them out last year, towards the summertime, it comes back to the fall. My that for the most part was looking forward to that game. To not been disappointed. That's a shining example. That's what a lot of these developers lack now is the hunger because they know EA knows they have a upcoming audience. So when you're in that position where you're they can put out whatever they want to and just throw caution to the wind. They'll accept it because we already got them. Yeah, when you're dealing with that particular type of situation, you're gonna it's gonna be a 22 and programming and everything. But on another note, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears here. And we are going to talk about last night's episode of The Flash, the so-called fastest man. Still debating that in my brain. So,
can I go first?
Go right ahead, sir.
Let me get this situated here, man.
Okay.
Let me get this situated while because I specifically had this lined up for the night, and I did it last night while I watched the show with brother Antonio, and I've got to pull this up. I know this is a little off the cuff tonight, but we're gonna go ahead and get this situated here. And this is what I saw last night when I watched the show with Antonio Coleman, and this sums up what last night's episode was to me. Now, for those who watch this show periodically, we like to make mention of whiskey. And for those who don't know what the whiskey is, it is The Walking Dead. Last night, I watched this show last night, and it was like watching a bad episode of WWF Velocity.
Oh, wow.
The show, now I'm going to tell you like this, and I'll tell you the exact same way I told Antonio last night. If they're going to make this show a romantic comedy, then just come out and say it's a romantic comedy, and I can accept this much easier. But don't feed me that this is a show revolving around action, and I get pregnancy tests. I get first alert celebrations. I get happiness. When I watch Riverdale, I know what Riverdale is. It's a drama. It's because it's billed as a drama. We are on what episode is this, Xavier? What is this? 4, 5, 4?
Going on 5 now.
Going on 5, and we're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and we all know what happens at Thanksgiving. We're gonna go on a break. We watched the show last night, and they had Rodriguez on there, and I'm like, well, he's doing a special for DirecTV in the show. What is this? And I was quiet again last night with Antonio. I didn't say anything on the phone with him last night. I did. He knows it. I didn't say much anything. I spent more time talking about why UGA is number 1 on this college football poll. And the Alabama's number two. I have that, as Wesley Snipes would say, that boggled my mind. But then I look at the show last night, and I'm watching the elongated man. He grabs a helicopter and he stops it.
Yeah, doesn't move. Yeah.
Doesn't move. Doesn't move. The show last night was all over the place. And I didn't watch last week's episode, but judging by what y'all said last week in the thread, in our private thread, I knew I didn't miss anything. And so I said, well, I'll watch it this week because last night Al said, well, you know, the Elongated Man's going to be on the show. And I said, okay, well, I'll get home. And he'll tell you. I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and get on home so I can watch the Flash. And so when I got home and I watched that last night, I was utterly disappointed because that was an hour that I could have been on the phone with someone else, with a young lady. Time was wasted. It was wasted. And let me tell you something. We're in the danger zone. We're getting into that danger zone, that red area, man. You know, we used to watch cartoons back in the day, the Looney Tunes, man. And you would see when the character was just about to get ready, he would start from the bottom, he go all the way up to the top, and he get about right here, and it's yellow, and then he starts sweating as it gets red, and his head is about to explode. That's where I'm at. Because we're 5 episodes in. And I'm going to tell you, like I told Al last night. Al asked me last night, we're going to talk about this on the next segment. And he asked me, he said, well, hey, man, you watch Walking Dead? No, I have not. I have not watched it. Because I have no desire to watch that show right now. I have no desire. And Flash is getting real close to that point. Because I'll take an ass whooping in FIFA than to sit there and to watch what I watched again last night. Vince is not on this show, but I'll say it for him, man. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And like I said, if they're going to make this show a romantic comedy, they just come out and tell us that. And I can accept it. I don't know about you three, but I can accept it if they come out and tell me it's a romantic comedy. You know, if you're going to give me crap, then just tell me that I'm going to watch an extension of what's that show that come on behind it, the Flash,
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're going, it's an extension of Legends of Tomorrow. It's an extension of Gotham. It's an extension because the same mentality is showing up on the Flash. And we brought this up about 4 weeks ago, 4 shows ago, Rob. I'm starting to believe more and more that this show peaked in season 2, with Zoom. I'm starting to believe more and more that it peaked. And it peaked early. Now, the bad part about this is that they've got, once again, Al, we talked about this, they've got enough material around that you can use. And I do not understand why people are not using the source material. I'm not understanding it. I'm not understanding it. Xavier, we'll go with you first here on the Flash. That smile.
The funny thing is, I actually enjoyed last night's episode.
Oh.
That's the funny thing. Like for real. I mean, it was way better than every other episode that they put out. So it's not that hard to do, but it
yeah. It was a little bit of that Cleveland Brown syndrome. If you can get 2 wins, you're doing all right.
Right. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Not in my opinion. But that's just me.
Al, I'm sorry, Zay. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say it definitely isn't what it used to be. But I mean, by God, it was way better than every episode of season 3.
Well, let me ask you this: are we now getting into that point where we should not expect much from this show? Are we getting into that realm?
I would say maybe. I mean, we did get Walking Dead a little longer than this. You know what I'm saying? Because we gave Walking Dead we gave it a pass after season 3 with the farm, and then it was 4 more seasons before we got that god awful season 7 that we had to endure. But I mean, I don't know. I gotta wait and see. It's tough for me to say that because the show has been so good up until season season 3. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we gotta wait and see. It's damn close though. It
Al?
is damn close.
Well, I have to say that I would have to agree with X, and the reason why I say that, if you take away the um, Cisco love theme, if you take away his love theme, if you take away the Joe and whatever his old lady's pregnancy theme,
Right,
it was a decent show. And to
right,
be honest with you, I enjoyed it because my personal the reason why I enjoyed it is because of um, Elongated Man.
right,
He actually brought something to the show that was something different from the run of the mill romance Harlequin, Fabio on the front cover type deal.
right.
Um, Up until he stopped that helicopter, I was in out there. I liked him in the show. But even though they had this little thing between Gypsy and Cisco and her dad and stuff, I enjoyed that. Where they were bumping uglies halfway show a kiss. I think what the problem is this show is that it's trying to cater to too many people.
Right.
It's trying to cater to the younger. It's trying to cater to the young adult crowd. It's trying to cater crowd. It's trying to cater to the diehard comic book fan. Stuff gets lost in translation. Now, it'd be one thing if they had one constant going on. I wouldn't have a problem if they just focused on Barry and Iris because, of course, Barry's the main character. And if they focused on that whole issue regarding the wedding, if that particular wedding at the end provided some type of big payoff or spun into a plot line or something of that nature, then I'm good for it. But to me, it's just the whole same old, same old. We can't come up with anything else aside from the fact that we want to focus on Barry and Iris's wedding,
Right.
and then on top of that, we want to throw in the whole deal with C and Cisco. I mean, eventually, some Ronnie Raymond's gonna come back, and old girl's gonna be Caitlin's gonna up with him. Have a lot of potential to have some good stuff going on. Of course, you got Metron, aka Brown Jr., behind the scenes trying to work some stuff out. Caitlin's still going through some stuff in reference to her evil persona. And then, of course, they haven't even explored that Rain Man situation with the whole gibberish that Barry was speaking at the beginning of the season. So they have the ability to actually put some compelling stories out, but with them trying to appease that Riverdale Harlequin romance tweener group,
Supernatural.
right, with these romance stories and stuff, it's really weighing the story down. I would have to agree with X in closing and say that this was a much better episode than the last three I saw. Way better than last week's episode. Last week's episode, I was just like, and then one thing too, and I'm gonna end. Why is Joe's eyes always glassy, like he's high all the time?
Like he's about to cry.
Right. Every time they show this dude, even when he's laughing, he looks like he's about to just straight ball. He needs to get some kind of dry formula and use that stuff whenever he's on the air. But that's pretty much all I got to say about it.
He did the same thing in Law and Order.
Antonio.
Well, man, I mean, the show was really just, to me, it was all over the place last night. I mean, it was bouncing around from one romance to the other to the next serious relationship thing. And I mean, I will say I did like the whole Danny Trejo being on the episode and them doing the machete and the Predators reference when they were sitting there joking around with him when Cisco was doing that. That was pretty cool. The Elongated Man, I mean, really, I guess it was a cool intro story for the character. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be coming back on like a recurring basis on there or not. But to go back to what Al said, there's a lot of stuff that they just pretty much just went away from altogether that they started out with the very first episode. And that's like with the with all the writing and stuff. I mean that you still got to go through that. And the wedding is supposedly supposed to be with the whole crossover episode. That's supposed to be the when the wedding happens, and it's supposed the crossover is supposed to basically ruin the wedding in that situation. But I mean, the show has almost seemed like it's trying to get a new audience than what it had previously before. Like in the first season, the second season, and in the third season, really kind of lost a lot of people because I mean the story just got to the point where it was just I don't know, it just wasn't interesting for the most part because most people had guessed by that time that Barry was the
Saboteur.
Savitar at that point on there for it. And really the story just didn't really make sense once it came down to it at the very end. With everything happened, you could almost call it and see it. And I called the last episode on what was going to happen in that situation.
It was
But
too
now you
many
got this new
outs. Yeah.
season coming. Yeah, you got this new season coming now, and I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's all over the place. If they would focus on, I guess, with the thinker as far as seeing what his plan is, what his goal is. I mean, is it that he wants to kill Barry? Is it he wants to capture Barry? Is he wants to steal his powers? I mean, what does he want to do? We don't know why he has anything against Barry Allen at this point. We just know that Savitar, the future Barry, knew about him and they defeated him. They invented the neural inhibitor, which he had like a flashback of that for a second at the end of the show. But still, I mean, you really just don't know where the show is trying to take you and in what direction it's trying to take you.
Well,
Can I say something real quick? Can I
yeah,
say
go
something
ahead,
quick?
bro. Go ahead.
So if Saboteur, like I just thought about this when TC said that. What? Saboteur was there and mentioned DeVoe and said this is the room that we created a neural inhibitor. Why haven't they gone and created a neural inhibitor in that room? Just to be ready. Like he's telling you this guy is coming. Why would you wait till it happened before you even did? And then, is it really going to take 12 episodes to find the 12 members on this bus?
Yep.
That's half the season.
That's what and they're gonna draw it out that way.
And what are they going to do with the next 12? Get out thump? I mean, what? Um,
I think it's gonna be partial. I mean, they're probably gonna do at least 2 or 3 episodes with the crossover, and that's gonna eat up a good portion of
I take my answer back. Matt was right.
it.
I just thought about that.
Because you're gonna have a bad version, basically a bad version of every character, which we've already had a bad version of Barry last season. So I guess we're gonna have another bad version of Barry come back and fight him.
At this point, I wish
I mean,
Saboteur would have killed Iris.
Dang.
I
Well, I
love
mean,
I love looking at her, but I'm tired of the whole wedding thing. We know you're getting married. First of all, it's too soon, but okay, whatever.
Tell us
yeah.
how you really feel, X.
I have, but
All right.
I can't say it on the air.
Let's move on to brighter pastures. Tomorrow, the big release of Thor Ragnarok in the theater. Uh, we all know what we're going to see this for. We all going to see this for the Hulk, Beta Ray Bill, and what the hell is going to go down with the Thanos and Avengers. And more people are going to be looking for that end credit tomorrow night. That's what people are going to be looking for. I expect this to be a pretty good movie. I expect it to go the tone of Guardians of the Galaxy. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see with you guys. I'll be in Alabama on assignment, but I'm going to the theater tomorrow night to watch it. But guys, what are your thoughts on Thor Ragnarok? Seems like he got here pretty fast. Al, we'll let you go first on this one, my friend.
Look to it. Thor Ragnarok, according to articles, been given the highest rating of any Marvel movie to date. And to be honest with you, I think that's kind of an impressive feat considering that Winter Soldier and Civil War are like two of the best that's actually been produced by Marvel. So for them to say that those two movies, Thor has been rated higher, considering our track record with the Thor trilogy, that's pretty impressive. Because the first Thor was crappy, no action to the end of the movie, and then he fought uh, uh, the Destroyer for like 2 minutes and 68 seconds. The Dark World was decent. It could have been better. So hopefully, we've learned that most of the Marvel trilogy movies that we've seen thus far, with the exception of Iron Man 3, they pretty much get better as time progresses. So as I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably be checking it out Saturday. So hopefully we'll see some stuff that ties in to Infinity War, which I'm pretty sure we'll see. Haven't heard anything in reference to the end credits. Don't know how many end credits there'll be. There was and I'm not going to say it on the air because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But around Comic-Con earlier this year, there was some footage that was actually leaked. Thor movie, which gives some tie-in to how somebody is supposed to meet up with somebody, but I'm not going to mention that. We'll probably talk about that after the show if everyone wants to. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Let's move over to Xavier.
I can't wait to go see it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait to go see it. Um, but I was looking forward just to seeing the actual relationship between um, Bruce Banner and Thor, how that was gonna play out, and then how um, how Loki was gonna actually come around in the movie. You know what I mean? Like I already know we're gonna laugh our ass off on it. But I just want to see how everything ties in. And Al, I think I already know what you're talking about. Um, all I'm gonna ask is space. Just nod your head up and down. Okay, all right, yeah. But I'm really looking forward to this movie. I wasn't at first. It's a lot of my friends that you could talk to. They got mad at me when I told them I wasn't looking forward to this movie. But I mean, all in all, I think we need a breath of fresh air, and that's what this movie is going to give us to tide us over until Infinity War and Black Panther.
All right, Tony up.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and honestly tell y'all, man. There's a couple things that I'm really looking forward to see as far as storyline wise. Definitely the Hulk is the big player in this. I want to see basically like how he got to where he is in this situation. And from what I understand, this is gonna be like the first of like a 3-part, I guess, like mini series within the movie itself, as far as explaining the story of where Hulk's gonna be going as far as after this in the situation. Uh, but yeah, I know what y'all talking about with the end credits. I know who's gonna meet up with who and where they going and all that other stuff too. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and everybody's been waiting to see that in that situation. And um, just from what I've read, it's like Al said and X said, the articles and everything, the reviews and all, saying this is one of the best Marvel movies to date on there for it. And even the director itself, he said that they really didn't take themselves too serious in this movie. I know it's called Thor Ragnarok, which is, I mean, technically, if you're going by the comic wise, it's not supposed to be a happy story on there for it, but
Right.
it's from what they saying, it's gonna be almost like a comedy, like a buddy comedy type movie between Thor and Hulk in that situation. So I really want to see that, and I want to see how they're gonna. From what I understand, they're gonna start transitioning basically to where it's just gonna be always gonna be a Hulk. There's not gonna be too much banner at all in the whole situation. So I want to see how they're gonna do that.
I can dig it.
Sweet. So, like I said, we'll all have our on the next show have our reviews for that. No, I take that back. On the next show, it'll actually be Justice League night. So, so We'll discuss that off air.
I don't care if
uh,
I got an Uber. I'm going to see that.
all right, so let's keep this going here with the Marvel cinematic universe. There was an article today that expressed that there will be unexpected characters in the Infinity War movie. So for those speculators, get your eBay on favorites and start looking around. Uh, who would you like to see who has not been announced be in the Infinity War movie? Antonio, we'll start with you on this.
I'm gonna go with one that's been teased in the last movie with Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's Adam Warlock. I would like to see that whole how that process is gonna come about and see him actually in the movie itself on that point. I think that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Well, just by based on I've seen for the Marvel landscape thus far, I can actually see Nova possibly making an appearance, albeit because of the Nova Corps being in Guardians of the Galaxy. I can see Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, being possibly a cameo. Of course, he was asked to be in the Guardian, but they nixed that. So I'm thinking that they could actually do something with that. I don't know Infinity War 1, but I know there was talk about Miss Marvel Captain the second. So whether or not she shows up in the first one, it remains to be. Other than that, man, I can't really think of any other characters that unexpected. Those would be the. I mean, they would. I would pretty much flip my wig if it was somebody that was totally off the radar. Now, I would really like to see some of the Netflix, if not all the Netflix folks, Punisher, the Defenders. I'd like to see them make some kind of a brief cameo in the movie. Now that would be super awesome. But you know, that's probably as about as um off going with over in my neighborhood, then that's happening. So you know, but yeah, those people that I would like to see.
All right, Xavier.
Who I would like to see, but who I know I'm not going to see is every Fox property character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that's what I would really want to see. Everybody else, I'm cool with it, with the way it is, just for the story. But I just want to see the real X-Men in a Marvel movie.
I want to see Quasar. Yeah, I just fucking with y'all. That's yeah,
Yeah, never know.
I was being facetious, but you just never know. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Squirrel Girl didn't show up in something like that. I mean,
I mean, they already got a cast.
yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, you know, you never know. All right, so let's move on here to the top 10 comics list according to Bleeding Cool. Number 10 is Hal and Jordan GLC 31. Number 9, Justice League of America. Number 17, Wonder Woman 33. Amazing Spider-Man 790. Saga 48. Black Panther 166. Number 4, Action Comics 990. 10 issues away from 1,000. Number 3, Detective Comics 967. Number 2, Flash 33. Number 1, Batman the Merciless number 1. Now, I could go at that one way. I could attack that list and I could say something. But I'm going to let Xavier, if Xavier caught that list, I'm going to see if he caught uh, anything in particular with that list.
I mean, it sounds like most of it's current stuff,
It's current, but
and a
did you?
lot of it is DC.
Okay, I just
I
wanted.
mean, I know I know Larry ain't gonna like that, but you know, hey, you know, ain't got
All
nothing to do
right.
with it.
Al, your thoughts on the top 10 list there? Anything that comes
Well,
out?
bruh, four books my pool already. Really, ain't too much that can be said, man. I mean, the stories. We're gonna go through a hall, and you'll see a lot of the stuff that you just mentioned in my pool. So, I we don't have enough time for me to sit and talk about this, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let X. I'm gonna go ahead and let TC say his piece, man, and we'll be done with it. But yeah.
Oh, TC, your thoughts, brother, your thoughts.
I mean, I agree with what Xavier said. I mean, like you said, it's a lot of it's DC in that situation. I think really the few Marvel comics that came in high. I mean, I was really surprised that Black Panther came in that high because I don't think it's ever been
Well, you
All right.
know
in
why
the
Black
top
Panther's on
10.
that list. We know why Black Panther's
I
on
know
that list.
with the trailer coming out, yeah, that's that's really helped it out with the trailer recently coming out. But besides that, I mean, it's never been in the top 10 in that situation. Besides, like the first week when it came out, the number one on there for it. But besides that, that's the last time I think it was ever in the top 10. So I mean, we're gonna see how it's gonna keep going. I mean, I think we still see that Batman is dominating the whole thing on there in that situation.
He
So
finna pop up. He finna pop up.
All right.
gonna
Al, what you got?
have you have
Well,
a run in?
yeah. Larry Crocker with the steel chair. The glass is about to break. But
Through my
let me
wall in the back of my head.
right exactly. DTA. Don't trust anybody. But all I'm gonna say about it is this. We talk about this all the time, and I've said it. Matt has said it. Uh, X has said it. Vince has said it. TC has said it. When you're dealing with the two companies right now, it's not that I personally want to be biased towards Marvel because I grew up reading Marvel. Of my collection, as I've stated before, over 90% of my collection are Marvel related books. With that being said, at this particular juncture, it's not about, and I'm gonna go on a little small rant. It's not about
Loyalty.
No, it's not about. Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, you're right. It's not about loyalty. It's not about the different versions of books that you could put out, the variants, which Marvel feels like it's gonna stay atop for having 8,000 versions of a Venom comic book. Um, it's not all about that, man. At the end of the day, yeah, people want to have those nice books. I got a couple of those lenticular Marvel Legacy books. But at the end of the day, man, when it's all said and done, if you are a comic collector for the purpose of reading comics, you want to read a story that's going to enthrall you, that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat, that's going to want you to purchase the next issue. People don't buy Stephen King books because the dude look crazy. People buy Stephen King books because the dude knows how to write. Dean Coop, the dude that the other book, that dude. Oh my God, what was it? The first person that's based off of those books. Know
Tom
who I'm
Clancy.
talking about. Clancy, thank greatest. But yeah, people buy those. They are enthralled with the writing. That artist will be that person in that world for however long they are reading that book. The same goes for the books that are on that list. There is no Marvel should not have more. How many books, Matt, are Marvel books on that list? Three?
Want to say two. I'm going to maybe three. Let's see. Uh, two.
Two. Black Panther
Man,
and What's up?
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. There you go.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie.
Marvel has like
the numbers don't
8,000.
lie.
They have 8,000 titles, and I'm exaggerating immensely, that they produce
Not really.
every month. No, when I say that, I mean they got more than 2 titles that they put out every month.
Right.
And it's a doggone shame that they only have 2 titles on that list. The sad part is that, okay, well, yeah, it's Rebirth. Rebirth has been out for a year.
All right.
Yeah.
That whole newness now has worn off.
Right.
At this particular point in time, it's all about, okay, who's selling the best stories? DC is selling the best stories. I'm sorry, Larry, I said it, and I'm gonna
Let me help
say
you.
it. They are continually. Let me just say this right quick, and I'll let you have the floor. They are continually putting out quality product. They're continually putting out good stories. Wonder Woman. I don't even read Wonder Woman, but I hear the storytelling is great. Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern Corps, Green Lanterns, Action Comics, Batman. We could all say that Batman is the bread and butter of DC. But again, that's the top 10 for the month of October. And then Batman ain't the only DC character on that list. Right. So it's got to come a point in time to say, okay, well, what is the problem? And I think it's going to get worse for Marvel before it's going to get better, because the whole legacy thing, I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but people are still confused over this numbering crap. Go ahead, Matt. I'm done.
Okay, what I was going to do is go to the Comixology has their top 25 sellers for this week. And number 1 is a Saga. Number 2 is Batman the Merciless. Number 3, Detective Comics. Number 4, The Flash. Number 5, Action Comics. Number 6, Wonder Woman. Number 7, Injustice 2, The Digital. Number 8, Amazing Spider-Man. Number 9, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Number 10, X-Men Blue. Number 11, Teen Titans. Number 12, Black Panther. Number 13, Justice League. Number 14, All New Wolverine. Number 15, Nightwing, The New Order. 16, Critical Role, Vox Machina Origins, digital only. 17, Jean Grey. 18, Batgirl. 19, Weapon X. 20, Suicide Squad, Daredevil, Batman Beyond, Thanos, Star Wars, and Outcast. Now, the numbers do not lie. And right now is and I'll go right into what you just got through ending with, Al. Marvel, this is the best way I can put it for those that watch wrestling that watch wrestling right now, and those who know I'll drop a wrestling reference in a minute. There was a time in WCW when it was just too much crap going on and nobody had a clue of what to do. The storylines were all over the place, and you had factions all over the place. You had you had exactly. They had the prisoners running the asylum. So what they do, they shut it down. They shut it down. And they said, we're starting from scratch. Marvel needs to shut it down and explain this numbering system to people. You got people, and you have to keep in mind, you've got, Al, when did they do this? They went from the numbering system, 10 years ago or something like that? Was it about?
It was close to 10. It was like 2007, 2008, 2009, around that time.
So you've got a whole new batch of kids who are into your comic books that are completely confused to what is going on. On top of the writing has struggled. Matter of fact, they had to specifically go out and get a good writing team for the Captain America book that just came out today. They had to go out and get a specific bunch of writers to revive that book because they found out that they were going to have trouble coming out of what was the series they just the Hydra
Secret Empire.
The Secret Empire. And so it was like, okay, well, we got to capitalize because we're coming out of this, coming out of that, and we're going to basically rebooting Captain America. So we've got to have a good writing team. The problem with Marvel, and it's documented, that they're having trouble getting good writers on these books. They're having trouble, and the numbers are starting to show. And I'll just segue into this, and we can tie this into this segment. The Dark Knight, the metal is just completely cleaning house. Now, nobody on this panel saw that. We talked about we talked about this. We really thought it was going to be kind of a hit and miss, but this thing is a complete hit. I mean, people are buying the hell out of these books. The value of these books have gone up.
Yeah.
I think me and Al saw a book last night. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Me and Al saw a book last night. I think I already in the $20 range. Solid.
That Red Death.
Yeah, $20 solid already. So the book is hot. These books are hot. DC. And last year this time we were sitting here arguing about, well, oh man, it's the rebirth. Well, rebirth can only last for so long. That was the argument. Now, am I wrong? Now, am I right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
Because I heard last year, we had people on this panel. We had people that was on this show last year. Well, yeah, this is rebirth. I've seen panels where people, I've seen articles where people were saying, well, this is going to die off because it's rebirth. No, what we see here is we see that DC has better writing right now. They have better material right now. The numbers are not lying. Yeah. The numbers are not lying when you look at these charts. I gave you 2 charts tonight. I didn't do 1 because somebody could have said, "Oh man, he's just being biased." No, I gave you 2, and even with the second one, which was more, that's still an outnumbering of DC Comics to Marvel Comics. And the number 1 was not even it was Image. Oh, but there we go. Look. There we go. I knew it. I
couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it no more, man.
Stephen A. Smith, he is here. He is here. But the numbers, Larry, you can say what you want to say tonight. The numbers on the list. We got 2 lists.
Man,
I can give you a third one.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna say this. This is what I'm gonna say. Nobody was talking when the New 52 came out. And Marvel was killing. It's cyclical, bro. Marvel just needs to stay the course, hang in there, and it all comes back around. Nobody would have ever predicted after the New 52 that Rebirth would have took off the way it did.
Yeah, you sound like a 49ers fan,
man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me ask you a question, man. Did you really expect Rebirth to take off after the New 52? The New 52 was a disaster. But you got Colt. You got Colt, New 52. I worked with one. This dude swear about a New 52.
Oh, congratulations.
You know what I'm saying? No, don't say that. There ain't no congratulations to be done. But
I'm just saying you didn't tell me that though.
Hey, we'll talk about it off air.
Solid.
But
solid.
Right. But it all comes back around, man. Marvel dominated for so long, and then what happens is DC they got some ground. I give them that. I think a lot of it is due to the movies, and as you see, when Marvel come back around with their movies, they sneak back up into the top 10. But
Marvel
Batman
been around for a long time though.
Who?
I said Marvel movie been around for a long time though.
And they dominated up until about 2 years ago, X. You do have to realize that.
No, I'm talking about. I mean, we ain't had a great DC movie with the exception of Wonder Woman, so we can't say the movies are what's causing the success.
Oh, I can with DC.
Oh, yeah.
Because notice you said we ain't had a good DC movie for the past couple of years, right? That's when DC came in. That's when they started coming into prominence. My point exactly. Come on, X. DC, if you go back 2 years, you can pull up lists from two years ago. Marvel had probably 9 of the top 10 titles.
I'm talking about that the movies ain't got nothing to do with the comics right now. It's the writing that has everything to do. Yeah.
I think DC characters are more relevant right now. And you see the one character that just had a movie is on the list. You see another character that has a movie coming is on the list. That Spider-Man story is not good.
I ain't saying nothing about Spider-Man. I'm talking about Wonder Woman.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. Look at the two Marvel books that were on that list. Spider-Man is on that list, and Black Panther's on that list. Spider-Man just came off of Homecoming. Black Panther got something coming up.
So, how bad Batman v Superman was, that has everything to do with DC's success right
It
now?
does
Is
because
that
the movie still made $900 million. It
ain't got nothing to do with the comic book?
Why I don't?
It's two different writers. The stories for Rebirth have been very consistent since they came out. That's what Al, Vince, and myself have been telling y'all. And the stories that they are writing that has nothing to do with the god awful movies that we've been watching is not contribute. That's what's contributing to the success of the comics, not the movies.
That's my point. You just said it.
You just said that how bad the movies were has everything to do with how good the comics are doing right now.
No, I said the movies themselves are not how good or bad. When you put a relevant character on the big screen and you have millions of people going to see that character, naturally it's gonna bleed over into comic sales. It just has to.
Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman been relevant forever,
but they weren't in the top 10. That's a fact. It is factual.
They've been in the top 10 over the past year since Rebirth came out.
Exactly, since Rebirth, and Rebirth coincided with what? The movies.
All right. Well, let me hold on, Zay. Hold on. Let me pose this question to you, Larry.
Wow.
Let me pose this question to you, Larry. You are an executive at Marvel right now. What is your course of action right now?
Stay the course. I stay the course.
What would you change? What would you change? Would you change anything?
I wouldn't change anything.
Bad movies is what he's saying.
I stay the course.
Okay, well, I'm going to pose that question to the panel. Antonio, what about you, my friend?
If I'm executive of, you said DC?
Marvel.
Of Marvel?
Right now. What's your plan of action?
With what they've already laid out right now, I mean, Larry's right. Just stick with what you got going right now. As far as with the Infinity War, Black Panther, Miss Marvel, Infinity War 2, stick with that. Introduce your characters. Keep supporting your TV shows like you're doing already. And just keep going.
What about from a comic book perspective? Well, I mean,
comic book's perspective is that it's going to keep going because you're going to see a jump in sales. Number one, because you got the new Punisher coming out. That's going to be basically War Machine in there. And what do you have coming out in 2 weeks from now? You got the Punisher Netflix show coming out right along with it.
Oh, so they've announced the date on that?
Yeah, it was the 17th.
November 17th. The same day as DC as Justice League. Justice League and Punisher come out the same day.
No, that's how I'll be going to see Justice League because it won't come out till 3 o'clock that morning. So yeah, I'll go see Justice League. I fell for the okie doke when I was stayed up all night.
But yeah, I mean,
you crazy.
But I mean, yeah, it's gonna. I mean, and plus you have. I mean, we know Disney's not cheap with what they're spending money wise on their franchise shows like Avengers. They're not gonna go cheap on that. They know that when they put the money into it, they're gonna get a big payout back on it. I mean, prime example is Civil War. They spent they said $100 million on it, $200 million, and it made over $1 billion. Came back on there for it. So, I mean, it's a solid investment either way. Even if you're not making it back in comics, either way, you're making money back on
it. Rated?
I'm tell you this, right? And this real talk.
Did we lose you?
And I have to agree as far as the whole, yeah. But my thing is this: the problem that I have with Marvel, it doesn't lie per se in the actual company. Marvel is. And I think with the legacy, they attempted a lot of stuff that was going on and try to go back the roots. And not only that, but try to bring things from perspective to where it's new, fresh. That I feel like there are certain places that Marvel has gone where it's going to take them a good little while to. Larry, I just read today it's supposed to be team. Some kind of storyline that they got about to run from the annual. Supposed to change the roster of the blue team. And that book is what? Only how many issues in? 12, 13 issues?
Well, you know what they're trying to do. The whole premise of that book was they trying to they're gonna find a way to put the time displaced team back in the past. So,
well, say, man, my thing is this. I just think that it's and I'll tell you this, and this is what I don't like for either of the companies. I think the actual cinema dictates what goes in the comic. I think both should be separate. I think providing entertainment like they have been so long reading. Case in point, we're gonna talk. Well, we ain't talk about it. Infinite is so written with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just put out a damn game. It doesn't have to be so closely tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was a time that didn't even matter, because, but of course, during we didn't have now, but people still bought into that game because it was something that they enjoyed. They went out and bought the game in droves, yada yada yada. Is for, like you said, for them to stay the course, and don't keep changing stuff just because of a status quo. Remain. All I've ever asked for any comic book that I picked up, I don't care if it was DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse. If you put out a book or it compels me to keep going back to the comic book store and purchasing that, you have a customer for as long as that store remains good. I don't think the panel actually is swayed by what popular pop culture actually puts out. We buy because we buy what we like. That's how it should be. A situation where it's based upon how well a movie. At the end of the day, they can stop comic book movies tomorrow, but they still plan on making comics from here on out. So I think that they should retcon a lot of this crap that they've been putting out. Put all of these stuff.
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic at hand. I can't speak on this. I can't speak on this because there's nothing to speak on. So I'm going to defer this topic to Xavier Randall because maybe he's watched it. I had to watch it, so I can't speak on it. The Walking Dead. What's going on? What's can somebody explain what's going on that show? I have no clue.
I mean, it's the only thing I can say that's going good for it is it's got more killing in the first 2 episodes than half of season 7. That's about it. I mean, it's something to pass the time at on Sunday night if I ain't interested in either one of the teams that's playing Sunday night football.
Larry, are you watching The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah, The Walking Dead is in a precarious spot, and the only reason I say that is because it's kind of ran its course, and even though it's still the number 1 show period on Sunday night, including being Sunday night football, people want to compare it. It had 17 million viewers for the season 7 premiere. Everybody was tuned into that premiere. You're not going to reach 17 million viewers again,
right?
Unless something tragic happens. But you still got 12 million people watching this show on Sunday night, which is more than any other show out there. True enough, it's ran its course, and Kirkman needs to find a way to end it at this point.
Right.
He needs to start working toward the end game before him and AMC end up having to come to some kind of negotiation about ratings going down. But I'm with X. This season is already past the season premiere. This season already better pretty much than last season.
Al. Okay, we'll go to Antonio. Antonio, your thoughts on the Walking Down? That was the coolest shit I've seen on this show. Okay, Antonio, your thoughts on The Walking Dead? Yeah, check your mute. Hit your mute button.
Unmute yourself, TC.
Unmute yourself.
I will say it has been more action packed than the previous season. I mean, pretty much all together. Every episode's been pretty much nonstop. A lot of the only thing that's getting to me is a lot of the situations you're not really they don't really guide you or lead you into why they're in that particular situation. It's
Right.
basically like I guess you just assume that if they say it's all out war is the basically is the theme of this season. So you might just drop in on a random firefight that they might be having with somebody, and it's just like, okay, well, how did you get to this point, and what are you trying to do? And you'll figure that out at the end of that particular like scene, a scenario, or something like that. But it really doesn't. They're really not explaining anything, which I guess some people like that better because you're not really having a lot of sit down and talking and drinking whiskey. You're basically just having, yeah, I mean, basically just having people just going out. It's a firefight. It's a shootout. It's a fight to the death in that kind of situation, and then it just moves on to the next one, and it's just been basically bouncing from one fight to the next the whole season so far.
I think they took the critique from last season in mind too much. I think everybody kept saying last season was so slow, no action, that they want to go ahead and say, okay, we're gonna turn to the Expendables. It's gonna be all action, and we're not gonna tell you how we got here.
Hell, it's slow with action though.
It is. It is because it's really because you're still trying to figure out what's going on while the action's going on in that situation.
Man, how come ain't nobody killed Terry yet?
That's why I ain't watched it.
A whole vengeful ass sheet.
So with that, we'll go on into our last topic of the night, and we're gonna start with Al. I'm gonna let Al start this off. As we discussed this about 2 shows ago, and I can almost call this down the pipe when we was talking about the Shazam, and I told everybody on the panel, I said, oh, they know who they wanted for that movie. They know. They just hadn't announced it. And what do we get last week, Al Rainey? We get the announcement of the character as Shazam. So, Al, this is your baby. I'm going to let you have the floor.
Well, I mean, I'm conflicted, man. I don't. Right now, at this particular juncture, it's kind of hard for me to say whether or not I'm excited or whether or not I'm like disappointed. The reason being is because I had to sit back and think about it. And Larry Crocker, I will attribute you to my thought process, sir. You have helped me out in more ways than it comes down to suspended on, sir. Of course, as us being, we want our representations of what we see on the screen as close as possible to whatnot. However, I've come to that. Now, went to the casting of whatever his last name is,
Levi,
from the TV series Chuck. This is one of those waitings. I say that is because outside of him, before he played Superman, and aside from to work with, I think he's done pretty good. Now, of course, 20 pounds with the broad chest, like the Bruce Timm's version, unlimited version of Superman. I mean, Thor ain't 400 pounds either in the comic book. I mean, the movies, but we've dealt with it. My biggest fear about this casting is that the guy that actually has been cast, John whatever his last name. He's a pretty good. I mean, Chuck ain't Shazam. Um, on the same, and you have to ask, okay, the angle. What is the angle that DC is looking for? Of course, Shazam is going to be a lighthearted movie. I can honestly see him playing Shazam because is that they gave him more of the Billy Batson persona when he transformed. Well, it makes sense unless Shazam and Billy Batson are two separate entities. When a little boy transforms into a grown man, he's gonna think like a little boy still, even though he and all this kind of stuff. My biggest something they're gonna make this movie. I would not. I'm a fan of the character. I wouldn't want to see to the point to where it's like, man, this is some garbage, man. This is about like watching, this is about like watching Heroes, and Siler is actually like, you know, a comedian or something. Like this is like, to me, things that it's like you just have to wait and see. I mean, the dude put a post saying that he's gonna have to bulk up, which of course that's what Henry Cavill did. But at this particular point in time, I kind of figured, like you mentioned some time ago, that who they just hadn't let the cat out of the bag. Once they let the cat out of the bag in the water, how people would react for the most part. But we'll just have to see. I just right now just have to tread on eggshells, man, because like I said, the thing of it is, as kiddie as I'm imagining it to be, because Adam is just as powerful as Superman. And that's another thing too. We still be Black Adam because they were torn with the idea of putting him in the Man of Steel too. So, and Shazam does not have a rogues gallery aside some Black Adam, Dr. Savannah, and a couple of talking monkeys or something. That's pretty much it. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how they put this together. But I'll give a dude a chance. That's it.
Anyone else on the panel want to speak on Shazam?
I'm actually kind of excited about this dude playing um, Billy Batson. I mean, dude, he is a way better choice than John Cena.
Oh, boy.
I mean, anything is a better choice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hell, I take Dan Rather.
Dan Rather, wow.
I mean, it's like this though. You really need a comedian to play Shazam. Al, I know you're gonna hate me when I say this, but you alluded to it where when he turns into Shazam, he's still a kid. So you have to have this lighthearted kid a kid at heart playing Shazam who could be strong but thinks like a child, and it still comes across as an adult child with all these powers. He's gonna be conflicted. He doesn't know that he's stronger than Superman, but he's idolizing Superman. You got to have somebody who can balance that out. You just can't have full-fledged, super strong dude playing Shazam. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. My thing is that you want to embody that in the movie because, of course, Shazam is a man child. But at the same token, man, you don't want to put it to a point to where it's too kiddie to the point to where it's like, you know, they taking. I mean, because unless we remember, I mean, you know, you want to go to Kingdom Come where Shazam, Captain Marvel beat this dude, man. You know what I'm saying? The dude, like I said, he's just as powerful, considered to be one of the most powerful superheroes in the DC mythos. So I don't want it to be a situation where they try to kid-friendly it too much to the point to where it actually loses the essence of the character. I mean, yeah, Billy Batson is immature. As Shazam, he's going to be immature,
you know what?
but he still has the wisdom of Solomon. You know what I'm saying? So Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to mute my mic. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because of somebody else. You know what? Now I thought they were gonna. I was really hoping and praying that they would have announced him in Justice League. You know, I think that would have been a great Easter egg for everybody. You know. Hmm?
Well, you know, there was a rumor that they're gonna it's either him or Zeus, supposedly in the movie. So I don't know.
I've heard different on that.
I'd be cool if it was Martian Manhunter. But
I mean, I take that too. That's what I was. Martian Manhunter be pretty good.
I mean, I've heard they're gonna put Green Lantern in there. So
I heard they're gonna have the Green Lantern core, not like Hal Jordan.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to have. Green Lantern core in there.
Well, that remains to be seen.
I'd be cool if it was John Stewart and not Hal Jordan. We already had a Hal Jordan in the movie world.
It is now time for the wait. We've been waiting on this for the last couple of days. It is now for our top 10 wrestling factions. Who would like to go first tonight for our top 10?
I go. I get mine out of the way for y'all destroy my list.
All right.
My number
There's
10.
There's gonna be some controversy in this top 10 list now. I just want everybody. This is gonna be some arguing tonight. So,
my number 7, y'all gonna probably look at me crazy. But my number 10 is the Alliance. My number 9 is the Generation X. My number 8 is Money Inc. My number 7 is Diamond Exchange. Oh, DDP and Kurt Hennig. My number 6 is the Corporation. Number 5 is Demolition. My number 4 is Legion of Doom or Road Warriors, whatever you want to call them. My number 3 is the Hart Foundation. Number 2 is Wolfpack. And my number 1 is the Four Horsemen.
all right.
My factions.
All right. Larry, you got your top 10, man? You muted. Unmute yourself.
I didn't actually. You know, I was watching the show. I didn't intend to make this guest appearance this week. You know, y'all were bashing. I had to hop on, man.
All right. Well, what's your number 1?
The Generation X. You know, my two favorite wrestlers, man, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, man. So,
what's your number 2?
Number 2, probably NWO.
And your number 3?
Number 3, I had to think. Once again, I'll probably go with something with Triple H, so Evolution.
Okay. All right. Al, because you got a lot of controversy in your list. So
Gangrel.
I mean, he already told me. He already told me to expect.
He ain't gonna leave Gangrel down either.
Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna live him down tonight because he in my top 10. Okay. What? Yes, the Brood.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Al, go ahead and get started. Oh, wait a minute, no. I'll go. You gonna have a feeling. Let me go. I'll go. My number 10. My number 10 is the Heenan family. Number 9, the Nation of Domination, led by The Rock. That Nation of Domination. And yes, Antonio Coleman, Savio Vega. I know. Yeah, you gonna bring that up. Number 8 is the Fabulous Freebirds. Number 7 is the Dangerous Alliance. Number 6 is Evolution. Evolution is a mystery. Number 5, the Hart Foundation. Number 4 is DX. Number 3 is the Corporation. And number 2 is the NWO. And number 1 is the Four Horsemen: Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, J.J. Dillon, and Ric Flair. The real Four Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Lex Luger Four Horsemen. No. We're talking the real Four Horsemen. So
Tom Zink.
Paul Roma.
Pretty Paul Roma, man.
Pretty, yeah, pretty.
With Mongo McMichael.
Mongo, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, and Ric Flair. That's your 4 horsemen, man.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna say Alpha last because I just know it's coming. So let's Antonio, you go ahead and go, brother.
You know what, man? I'm going to tell you, man, that number 1 is gonna be it's gonna be NW. It's gonna be 4 horsemen, and it's not the 4 horsemen, not the original. My favorite 4 horsemen was the one that had Luger. And they had what's the boy from Sweetwater, Texas, man? What's this? Barry Windham, man. Barry Windham. You know, when he joined the 4 Horsemen, man, that broke my heart as a kid. Because I hated the 4 Horsemen when I was a child, man. But when he joined, you know, thinking about it, the crew he had at the time, that's probably going to be my number 1.
He was vicious.
Yeah. That's my number 1. Number 2 going to be NWO. And, you know, from the rest down, man, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the Varsity Club, York Foundation, Corporate Ministry.
York Foundation. That's who I forgot. I forgot about York Foundation.
Money Inc. And I'm gonna go ahead and one that both of y'all forgot about, man. All y'all forgot is LAX from TNA, man. I love that crew. The way they did everything.
Gringo Killer.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty much a NWO ripoff, but I still liked it in that situation on there for it.
Main Event Mafia, man?
No. No, I'm not that. You know, LAX was the only TNA group that I liked on there.
Oh, man.
DX and the original DX was just Sean and Hunter, not the whole X-Pac and New Age Outlaw. No, not that.
I'm an ass man.
No.
The man sound like the lick 'em and I like to stick 'em.
Yeah. The Alliance, that's another crew on there that I can roll with in that situation. Full-blooded Italian.
What alliance you talking about now? You talking the Dangerous Alliance, or you talking
Dangerous Alliance? Yeah, Dangerous Alliance.
I thought you were talking about that WCW WWF invasion angle.
No.
Okay.
No.
You talking Chuck Palumbo?
No. And you know I'm gonna go ahead and I'm put the Diamond Exchange in there too, because I mean that was a hard rolling crew.
What about the well, no, I say that. I do. That's on air list. I say
you got some Southern Justice, man.
Oh, man.
The Godwins with the Godwins.
The nigga maniacs, man.
The slop drop.
Oh man. What about what's your boy, man? Fireman Bill and the Fireman Chip. And
what about Union, man?
Oh.
With all the jobbers.
With Ken Shamrock, man. Oh. All right, yeah, Al. Bring that thunderstorm, Doc.
I'm finna bring it too. I got an honorable mention. Right, it's 7 people on the honorable mention list. And this is in order. I'm probably gonna list some negativity, but I don't care.
Did the Spirit Squad make it?
No, Spirit Squad didn't make the sense or did.
Oh.
You said Right to Censor made that list.
Honorable.
Wait a minute. Right the censor, but the Spirit Squad didn't make the censor.
I hated the Spirit Squad.
Oh man, Right to Censor, man. Oh my.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right.
And this is just the honorable mention list.
Honorable mention, that's right. 10. Hold up, y'all ain't even think about this one.
He gonna do Lance Storm. I know that Lance Storm.
Okay.
Oh man.
Now,
what was the name of that crew?
Hold up. Right to Censor. Y'all forgot about the Main Street Posse.
No, not Pete Gas.
The Mean Streets of Greenwich. From the Mean Streets of Greenwich.
Mean Streets of Greenwich.
Next, Y Family. Yeah, they low. The LWO.
Tino World Order.
Man, y'all but come on now. Y'all are tripping.
I think the Mexicans over there.
Whatever. Midnight Express with Jim Cornette and Big Bubba Rogers. Yeah.
I mean, I can deal with that. I can take me.
I consider that a faction when he added Big Bo Rogers as his enforcer. All right. DWO.
Oh man, God damn it. Did you hear that?
I love the.
Have we made the top 10?
I'm gonna let it roll, man, because I'm waiting to hear the Nation Domination, man.
Right. BWO and Larry, you gonna be mad, but DX made my honorable mention. And Mr. Ass. But that rounds out my honorable mention. Number 10.
Because you're sitting there going,
is the corporate
I think
ministry.
we got it. Corporate ministry. Okay, all right. Go ahead. Number 10.
Y'all say the flock.
With Lodi? With Lodi?
Reese.
And Reese?
Reese.
The Rings of Saturn, man.
What?
Reese.
Man, that flock. They had Billy Kid. Hold up. They had Billy Kidman, Saturn, Lodi, was like, and Sick Boy. Man, come on, y'all. Okay. Number 9, the Varsity Club. Number 8, Dangerous Alliance. Number 7, Dungeon of Doom. Number 6, Devon Eriks. Number 5, Nation of Domination. Number 4 is The Brood. Number 3 is the Four Horsemen with Lex Luger. Number 2 is the NWO, Black and White. And number 1 is the original Four Horsemen.
That wasn't that bad. I was waiting on. Did you say the Dungeon of Doom? You said Dungeon of Doom?
Yeah.
With the Yeti? Is the Yeti in that?
No, not with the Yeti. No, that was the one that had Ming and Warlord and Kevin Sullivan. Who else was in Dungeon of Doom at that time?
The Barbarian.
That particular incarnation. The
Booty
Barbarian.
Man.
Yeah.
The Booty Man?
No, Zodiac wasn't in it at the time.
And the Shark.
John Tenta, no. That's
All
it.
right. That
No oddities, man.
Man, I hated the oddities.
Kurgan?
The Master? The Master?
No, because they had ICP doing their theme song, so no.
So, in honor of having the top factions in wrestling, on the next show we're gonna do the top 10 worst factions in professional wrestling. That'll be real.
Might be in there. I mean, you got the blue world order, man. The blue.
Oh man, I got one, man. I got the worst of all time, but I'm gonna save it. So let's get into our hauls, y'all. And I'm gonna go first tonight because I've got something here that I wanted y'all to see, and I wanted to call this guy out, man, on eBay. And I tell you what, now I'm gonna give him a like, so I want y'all to see this. Make sure y'all see this. Larry, make sure you look at this, man, if you watch him. I want you to see this, man. I want to get this guy's name right, man. If you buy books on eBay, do not buy from DJ Adiko. This guy here, man, when I open this box the day before yesterday, all I could do is shake my damn head. I've seen some bad packaging in my life, and I've experienced some rough stuff. When I get a comic book and it comes like this, look at. I don't know if y'all can see. Look at the plastic. Look at it. Can you see it? Can you see the plastic?
Yeah, it's bent. Mm.
No, it ain't bent. It's half open.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely unacceptable, and it's a disgrace before God. Shame on you. Shame on you. There needs to be a clinic. It's just like when the kids play t-ball, man. We're gonna teach y'all how to hit. We're gonna have to have a clinic on how to package comic books, man. It makes no sense in 2017 for someone to package a book that ass backwards and send it through the mail. Luckily, man, this thing didn't come bent. Because I've been real pissed considering this is the variant.
Flip it back over.
Spider-Gwen.
Matt, flip it back over. What is that ripped in the top corner? No, the back side.
Oh yeah! Look at this.
Wow. Wow.
It's just like a damn dog got a hold of it, man.
Dude, I saw that with a glare on the back of it. That's terrible.
It's absolute scandalous. All right. So let's resume a natural order of things. Today, I will stop by Comics Plus. I picked up Dead Man #1, the Glow in the Dark variant. Also covered by Neil Adams. So definitely worth to pick up. Larry, Dark Knight Metal, Batman the Devastator #1. I just want you to see it.
Hey, how much is that going for over there?
It's cover price. Luke Cage variant. No, you know why I bought that. I don't even have to tell you. You know, throwback Luke Cage on the cover. Pick this baby up for $30. Walking Dead #21. This is the intro to the prison. Got that at a pretty relatively decent price. So got that. And last but not least is my, every once in a while I get the Midnight Marauder sale, and I got a Midnight Marauder. This one is Iron Man #150. This is signed by John Romita, and it is CGC at a grade of 6, as you can see. I think that's 6. Yeah, 6. And I paid $49.99 for this. So that's what
Good deal.
yeah, so very good deal for the Midnight Marauder sale. So with that is it. Make sure I think that's everything there that I can think of. Yep, that is it. That is it. All right, so Antonio.
All right. First things first. Go ahead and get my my Black Panthers 166 cloth version, the lenticular. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, picked up that. Cover B. Headshot. How to draw. And the Sook variant, which it almost looks like he has a symbiote. Almost looks like that on there for it. Rest of it I got the Red Death second print. Punisher Platoon. Punisher 17. Picked up my Flash 33. Both variants on that. I picked up the Spawn Walking Dead edition that they did. I got the black and white one and the color version of it. Got Malboja on the front. Is that Malboja? No,
Violator.
Violator. Yeah. On the front cover of it. Special treat. I got my negative variant for Black Panther, which is similar to the one he's got in the trailer you saw. And then last but not least, I finally got my hands on the original Sin. Punisher cover.
Nice.
Yeah. Gotta let it go for $45.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Midnight Marauder.
yeah.
All right. Xavier, anything? All right. Larry?
I just go from the haul I got today. Let's see here. Last week would be too much. I got these 2 Astonishing X-Men covers. That's the variant with old Archangel on it. And that's the regular cover. You can see Professor X from the cartoon in the 90s when he was fighting the Shadow King.
Nice.
Avengers 673 with more of that messed up numbering that y'all were talking about. With the champions. I like the champions. Captain America $6.95 with more of that messed up numbering. $6.95. And you know, I got some variants to go with that. Oh, lenticular.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
The trading card variant. The good old blank variant. I'm gonna have somebody draw on one of these one day. And the big boy for Captain America. The 25. That's number 30. The end of the Maestro story. Pack. The trading card variant.
Power pack.
Yeah, power pack. Spider-Man, Return of the Sinister Six with Miles Morales. Good read, good read. The lenticular for Miles Morales here. Yeah, for Miles Morales. Yes, he's black, people. And more of that messed up numbering, 234 Spider-Man, the last variant. That's all for this week.
All right. Al.
I don't have but a few because I hadn't gotten my books for this week. Most recent got is a one-shot Batman the Drowned, Batman Metal 3, picked up a back issue of X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 169. And lastly, I can do about these books I told you about on eBay. I bought 5 books at price, but all 5 of the books was like in one comic book cover, like the slip, and I was mad. But basically, there's some back issues of Shazam. It's a total of 5.
It's a good pickup.
And then there's a double-sized issue, it's like 100 pages I got. But the reason this is Shazam 25.
How much you get that for? How much you get that for, man?
Well, I paid $35 for all 5 books, so it's like $7.
Oh,
That's the first. That's the first appearance of ISIS. Remember that show ISIS on the TV show?
Yeah.
Well, they brought her into the comic. This book right here by itself is gonna run you about $40-50 up. So the dude was selling a lot, so I went ahead and picked up the lot for $35. So.
All right. Good pickup, everybody. Great show this week. Everyone, thank you for watching. We'll be returning. And when we return, we'll be discussing Thor Ragnarok, and we'll be talking about the Justice League. And I'm praying, and I'm hoping. And so we will see. With that, I'm Matt Odom, Antonio Coleman, Larry Crocker, who joined us tonight to defend his
Just
company.
know, whenever there's injustice against Marvel, I will show up.
And also, we want to say congratulations because Larry will be returning back on next show, A Married Man.
Hey, man, you're not supposed to tell people that.
Where were you for Iron Man 3?
The Mandarin. So congratulations, my man. And when he returns, hopefully we'll be able to rub Justice League into his face. Hopefully. Praying. Holding out hope.
You can't rub my face, man. The only thing I say about Justice League, they better not give me an 1.5 hour long movie without Superman. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now we all know Superman is
He
gonna
ain't
be in
gonna
that.
enjoy the movie then.
Well, we all know Superman is gonna be in that movie.
I hope he all
Oh,
dreams.
he gonna be in there, but I hope they don't pull no crap, man. Like they gonna give me like they did Wonder Woman. You gonna give me a 2.5 hour movie, and she gonna show up with 15 minutes left in the movie. If they do Superman like that, man, I never watch no movie again in my life, man.
Y'all want to watch that Batman vs Superman? No. I YouTube that. Yeah. And with that, y'all have a good night, and we will see y'all on the rebound. Out. Yeah.